Welcome to the Wednesday Call Live! Hosted in Burlington, North Carolina, incredible live studio audience. Today's special guest hosts, Terry Edwards and Andy Riddle!
That's all right.
Sit on down. Sit
Awesome.
on down.
Right. We're just getting warmed up to the Jeff Bright theme song.
That's right.
We're ready to go.
That's right. Turbulence.
Welcome, welcome everyone to the TWC Live.
Live.
It is awesome being here with my good buddy Terry Edwards.
That's right.
My name's Andy Riddle. I'm direct to Andy and Jane Albright. And it is just an honor to Andy ask us to do the TWC today while he's out there growing the Alliance Kingdom, doing all the great stuff that he does for us, traveling around the country and attending meetings and growing what we do. So
right.
It's just awesome to do that. You know, Terry, I'm just fired up about the momentum that the Alliance has.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
We got it, baby.
Andy turned it up at the beginning of the year with starting the new levels charts and adding the glow bonuses and
glow, baby.
adding the ARC system and just taking off. And we're getting ready to end up in February and go rolling into the March. And Andy's asked us all to do some nice little cool contests.
That's right. Because
You know
I
what I mean?
remember, hey, you remember last year? It was in March that Andy released that $100,000 contest.
Yeah.
And it just like catapulted. We killed 2000.
Yeah.
And March 2019 is terrified,
That-
baby. Oh my God, it's terrified.
And we're kicking it off, so get with your managers, find out what contest they're running. In the Riddle organization, I'm fired up about our contest.
Yeah, man.
It's the March Who Takes the Steak.
That's right.
So we're doing a contest for the top producers and the top recruiters. They get to come over and hang out at their manager's house, and they'll cook them a steak dinner and get to hang out and associate with some of the other top leaders.
That's
The only caveat that I put on mine was I can't cook, so we're going to take them out to dinner. But then we'll come back to the house and hang out.
So your contest would have been who burnt the steak?
Yeah. I'd have to invite Terry down and cook for me or something, you know what I mean? So, but get with your managers. I'm sure they're running contests too and all the March, and it's kicking off, and things are just going crazy on that side. You know, but traveling around this week, I've been up here in North Carolina. Was in Charlotte on Monday, Greensboro last night. Two amazing, great hot spots going nuts. And it's so awesome to get around the Alliance family and get out and travel and get to see all the guys in different places. And just so much momentum going on, you know, in Charlotte Monday night with just the great momentum there, being in Greensboro last night. And I'm super fired up about tomorrow night. I'm going to be in Charleston, South Carolina, and we're kicking off our new hotspot in Charleston, so getting ready to go there.
That's awesome.
We have Jerry and Cassie in Charleston, getting that turned up and starting to do those kind of things. So just a lot of great things going on in the Alliance. But, you know, more than anything, yesterday, for the last 2 days, I got to hang out with Terry and Tia. And not only are they just great people, but getting to sit down with them and planning our future together. It was just so much fun. We were talking about what we're going to do in Paris in a couple months, but it was planning on how to help Terry and Tia get to where they wanted to go and planning our future together over the next years and just and doing some cool things. We were planning yesterday how to get Terry and Tia one of these rings.
That's right.
And then moving on up so they can get, you know, inherit my ring.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And then move through those levels and stuff. And it's just cool having friends in the Alliance and living life together. You know, and it's all over the country, all over the place. You know, when they sent out the email today about me and Terry, just the Alliance family sending text messages and encouraging stuff. But you just have great people, and I'm just fired up to live life with all my friends. You know, and it's just so much fun to do that. So, Terry, what are you fired up about, bud?
Woo! I'm fired up about a lot, man. First of all, today is February 27th. See, I done enunciated all the syllables in February, because most people I come, they be like, February. You know what I'm saying? It's February 27th. It's a national holiday in my book. It's my wife's birthday. Oh! You know, and I'm super fired up, not just because it's her birthday, but honestly speaking, we get to do life together. Like a lot of times people have to wear several hats. Like they got to put on the husband hat. Then they got to take that hat off and put on the daddy hat. Then they got to take that off and put on the work or the business hat. Like, that's too complicated for me. Like, I'm so grateful to have a wife that's with me in every area of my life, and we're able to do it together and to grow together. So I'm super excited about that. And for all the people out there, you know, that are doing this business, you know, and you got a supportive spouse, or your spouse really want to be engaged, oh my gosh, it's work. Like trying to run a business and hold a household and everything, but it is so worth it. And I'm thankful for the example of Jane and Andy, because if they were able to keep their marriage successful for over 30 years and build an amazing company that are impacting thousands and thousands of lives across the United States, and we gonna go international, baby. I'm just super excited for the example that they have set, you know, and never take them for granted. I love you, Jane. I love you, Andy. And then to hang out with you, Riddle, man, like when Navy SEALs are being trained, and when they're dropped behind enemy lines, they are trained to ask themselves 3 questions. The first question is, where am I? The second question is, where's my enemy? But the most important question is, where's my buddy? And to be in business with someone, first of all, as humble as Riddle is, and to get to sit down and break bread. A lot of times we see the glory of Riddle, but yesterday at lunch, man, just to sit down and really learn the story of Riddle. I mean, this guy has overcome so much adversity, and he looking good doing it, slimming down, keto and stuff. But but a lot of times, you know, with us being so far at a distance, we do conference calls and stuff like that. But it's nothing like being kneecap to kneecap, eyeball to eyeball with your battle buddy. And I just appreciate you so much, Riddle, for not giving up when things were tough, for overcoming all the stuff that you've done, and being a good example to me of what a dad and how dads should love on their daughters. I appreciate you in so many different ways. And that time that we spent yesterday, I feel sorry for the 3 people that was on his schedule and we held them over. We sorry. But anytime you can get a hold of somebody who's been through what you're going through and made it, I want to drain everything that I can out of them. So I appreciate you for that, man. I'm fired up about Alaska.
Yeah.
Woo. Yeah, we're going to Paris too, but I'm really fired up about Alaska because it's more people. Like, we're going to take over the whole ship. We're going to need another boat, baby. Not a bigger boat, another boat. So I'm fired up about that. I'm fired up about driving death, man, just helping more people. You know, we got some good legs going up in Ohio now with Pamela and her son Amante, and then we got that going on. We got Jose Cuevas growing like crazy down near you. The Greensboro meeting, oh my gosh, it's getting crazier and crazier by the week. Like last night, 71 people in Greensboro. Check this out, the week before that, it was sleeting and we had over 60 people at the meeting. So just that community, man, it's just like seeing people lives transformed week in and week out, and people that still overcoming despite of what they're going through, man. I'm just excited about everything, man. I can
That's
go on
awesome,
and on,
man. That's awesome. It's just crazy because you're talking about like Jose. I'll be down with him next Wednesday in Tampa, and then I get on a plane and go hang out with my good buddy Matt Goodrich out in California.
That's
then
right.
the Carries in California, and it's just happening everywhere, you know, and it's all over the place, and it's just so fun to do it, and be in this business with just buddies like that,
Right.
you know, your battle buddies all over the country and do stuff. So. So from last week's TWC, Stephen Davies shot some fires for his daughter Tinsley.
Yeah, he did.
So I got a joke coming back for Tinsley here. So Terry, you ready for this one?
You better give
All
it
right.
to him.
Terry.
I hope you're ready.
I know, man.
Tinsley,
So Terry, you want to know how to make a strawberry cry?
how?
Tell its mom it's in the jam.
Oh! Not your mama joke.
So, but I'm fired up. It's one of those things, you know. It's nothing like having a contest with Stephen Davies' daughter. You know what I mean? And I was told last night in Greensboro, a bunch of the people in the Greensboro meeting were on Team Tinsley, and I was like, you know, most people get on like the underdog, and she was born a Davies, so like she's got advantage. You know what I mean? She's got that jokes coming in from
That's
birth
right.
and all that. So
That's right.
But it's an honor just to let Andy have us share this time with you guys today, and we're talking about today is how to kill the basics.
That's right.
And it's in this business, it's what Andy's taught me over the years of the 12 years I've known Andy. Every single time I sit down with him, it's just over basics. And I go in there and I have all my questions and it's all confusing in my head. And then I talk to Andy and he makes it so simple and always back to these basics.
That's right.
And just to how to explode your business. And I'm the king at confusing all those basics in my head, but Andy always brings it back.
That's right.
So Terry and I today get to talk to you guys a little bit about the basics. It's one of the things we have our key leaders inside my organization. About a year ago, we got together and we said we want to be the best organization at the basics.
That's right.
So we're going to share with you guys some of the stuff that we're working with our teams with and in those basic aspects to really help you grow your business and explode your business based off those basics. So Terry, you want to start out, bud?
That's right. I'll do the best I can, baby. So, and to be clear, like, you know, Andy normally chooses you to do a talk either because you're really, really good at something or you need a little help. And I think I'm the one that need a little help. So, and then I was watching band one day and it was a guy, he had put a comment up under a picture that I had posted up. I was actually in your office doing the training at Riddle's office. And the guy caption was, I hope he was talking about more than the basics. Like the basics ain't good enough. Like a lot of times we could get so advanced till we start getting comfortable and start skipping stuff. And when you start skipping stuff, you're gonna mess around and run in the ditch. And then when you get in the ditch, you got to call the tow truck. That's another expense. You late from where you had to be. So it creates a whole disaster of things. You'll be late to pick up your child from the daycare, all that stuff. So you want to stay out the ditch. And the way that I found, honestly, to stay out the ditch is by copying the basics, okay? So the other thing about the basics is this right here. So if y'all are like, oh, it's going to be boring. It might be, but our job today is not to impress you. Because when you try to impress somebody, that's all about your ego. But what we're wanting to do and what most leaders are wanting to do is to influence you. Because when you influence somebody, you get through their head to their heart and get them to move. The highest paid profession in the world is people who can get other people to move. And the way you get people to move is by keeping stuff so simple that a fifth grader could understand it, okay? So, when we talk about keeping it simple, the first thing that everybody has to determine is, what is it that you really want? That's a good question right there. Andy told me this. He said the quality of your life is going to be determined on the quality of the questions that you can ask. See, most people come around here and they start making statements like, I ain't got no money for this. I can't do this. I can't come to the meeting. I can't do this. Well, what can you do? What is it that you really want, okay? And what do you want the alliance to do for you and your family? See, what was it the night that you sat in that meeting or you was at the coffee shop and you met somebody who was already into the alliance and they was explaining it to you, showing you how the leads and, you know, we need some help and they was giving you the business, baby. What is it that you saw at that time to make you say, I got to be a part of that? What is that right there? So there are three phases of our game. We sell, we recruit, and we build, right? What's the one thing we do? We sell, we recruit, and we build. So basically, I love the way Riddle explains it, as well as Albright. It's like the sales part is the job that we do, and the recruiting and building is the business. You see, with sales, we can go out right now and print money out of thin air. See, it ain't like them other pyramids I was in where you had to buy inventory and then try to resell it. Right. Like, bro, we just paper and we call the carriers and they send us all the paper forms and everything. Sometimes you ain't even got to do it on paper. You just go online. It don't cost you nothing. You got this smartphone anyway. You got to pay for it. So you just go out and you can literally print money out of thin air. So why do you sell? We want to sell enough to create enough income, first of all, to pay your bills. Hello, somebody. We need to pay them bills because I know we got a dream, but if we stay stuck in the dream and not focus on the right now, we're going to just be a wandering generality and never accomplish anything. So we want to create enough income, first of all, to pay your bills. If you want to shut the naysayers up and your negative aunts and uncles and cousins and them, or your spouse who ain't supportive, start filling up enough money, put money in the bank account so you can take them out to eat every now and then, and they ain't got to worry about looking at the prices. You know what I'm saying? So the second reason you want to sell is so that you can fund your business. Because scared money don't make no money. So a lot of people be like, well, Terry, how much should I sell? I'd be like, enough. They're like, what do you mean enough? Enough to pay your bills and to fund your business based on what you want. It all goes back to what is it that you want. And the thing I love about the Alliance is we got a proven system where it don't matter who you are, we can tell you what you got to DO. You tell us what you WANTTO, and we'll tell you what you got to DO. Y'all know, y'all tracking what I'm putting down? So first thing we want to do is this right here. Choose your income. You see, this ain't like a job. When you go to a job, you sit in front of the hiring manager, you selling yourself. You know, I'll be here on time. I'm a certified leader. You know, all this and that. You pumping the pump. You priming the pump, baby. You selling yourself, right? And then they tell you how much money they're going to pay you. Every week or every 2 weeks or by salary, they're going to tell you what they're going to pay you, right? Here, you are sitting in the driver's seat. You are now the hiring manager. How much do you want to pay yourself? Huh? Do you want to pay yourself $500 a week? Do you want to pay yourself $1,000? You tell us how much you want to make a week, and we're going to tell you what you got to do. And it all goes back to activity, right? So if you want to make $2,000, $3,000 a week, right here, we say, okay, this is what you got to do. You're going to need to make about 300 phone calls a week, okay? You're going to probably talk to 35 people. About 25 of them are going to be at the house when you get there. Now, this is very important for your city folks. This is very important. If you get to the house and they ain't there, you ain't allowed to go up in there. You could take the pots off the plants off the porch. You could get the peppermints that's sitting beside the door. I got the lady peppermints the other day. She wouldn't let me in, Riddle. Like, she knew I was coming. And then she answered the phone when I called her, and she was like, well, I'm not feeling well, and I'm not taking any visitors today. I said, well, thank you, ma'am. I'm taking your peppermints outside the door. Got me about 5 of them jokers. How many people you going to sit down and actually talk to? So you already know. This is what I call the preview of coming attractions. You see, this is what I know. Most people start talking about the Alliance. They're trying to, Toby, basically oversell it. Make it sound like it's the best thing on earth and there are going to be no problems. And, you know, we got leads and the people are just waiting for you to call them. But what we have to do is we got to tell people that there's some work that got to be done, and this is what it's going to look like. So that way, when they start dialing and people don't pick up the phone, they're not shocked. That's what get people upset, is when you don't tell them what to expect, right? And then you ain't gonna write every application. You can get about 50% of the people you sit down and talk to. So this is a very simple way for anybody to sit down with a new person and say, hey, how much you want to make, and this is what you got to do in order to make that thing happen. All right, so we got our 8 steps to success, right? And we've been talking about driving depth on the recruiting side, right? So the quickest way to okay, this thing right here. Leads are great. Don't get me wrong. I love them. I want some more of them. You talk to Clay Murtis and them, they got plenty and they can get more on the way, okay? But this is the thing. The quickest and fastest way to get your business off the ground, especially if you ain't got no money, hunty, what you got to do is, first of all, you got to write a policy on yourself. You're going to get paid off of it too, right? So you got to write a policy on yourself. A couple of reasons. First of all, how in the world are you going to go to somebody's house, right? You trying to help them with some life insurance, and they ask you, well, which one you got? And you ain't got none of them that's on your sheet? That just ain't right there. That's just like going to a Cadillac dealership and you see the salesperson drive up in a Toyota. You know what I'm saying? You be like, bro, you don't even believe in what you're selling. You know what I'm saying? So, and then this right here. I heard some people be like this right here. Well, Terry, I can't afford one. Huh? tell me this. Tell me why you don't need one. Don't tell me what you can't afford. But then let's just get what you can afford, because what's going to happen when you sit down and talk with the client, Mia, and they hit you with that, I can't afford it. How amazing of a story would it be? Just like, girl, I felt the same way. But I thought about my little youngins, and I thought about my parents. I didn't want them holding no bag when I left here. So I started off with a $25 a month policy, so at least they could put me in the ground or burn me or whatever they're going to do, right? So it's like the story. See, this is another thing right here. The thing I love about our Alliance family and our team is you ain't got to be perfect, y'all. We ain't looking for perfection because nobody likes perfect. Have y'all ever been to the beach, right? And like you see somebody like Andy Riddle come up on the beach and he takes his shirt off, you know what I'm saying? He got his six-pack exposed and his little above the knee shorts and everything, you know. And you sitting there looking at him, you like, mm-hmm. But then you see a big one like me come up in there, and I take my shirt off. You know, I got a roll on my back. You know, I got a keg up front. I'm working on it, though. I done went from a keg to a 40 ounce. I'm coming for the six-pack, baby. But you see somebody like me, and I take my shirt off, and I got a roll here, you know, a little bit too much in the front, and then my shorts hit me back down in my kneecaps. You be like, that man right there got confidence. That's my boy right there. People can relate to imperfection because we're all imperfect. If we go out here and always try to be perfect, we're going to repel people as opposed to attract people. That'll preach right there. It is Black History Month. Y'all can't say, preach it, black boy.
Preach it, black boy.
All right, so first of all, you got to get a policy, right? So then guess what? Not only you, but how would you feel if one of your family members passed away and a GoFundMe is on social media? So then you got to drop down, you got to get your mama covered, you got to get your daddy covered, you got to get your brothers and your sisters covered. You know what I'm saying? You got to cover everybody, all right? And then guess what? You got to drive another level deep. Then you got to get your aunt on your mama's side a policy, your aunt on your daddy's side, and your uncle over here. And then you got to get your brother's friend and your sister's friend. Got to get all these people covered because everybody need what we got. And then you drop down another level. You got to talk to your cousins and them. We got cousins in the house on the day. That's right. You talk to your cousins and them, you know, and then guess what? You drop down and talk to their baby mama. You got to talk to everybody. You got to talk to everybody. Because guess what? You can then, first of all, it's good to get everybody protected, but also all this is free. They're in your cell phone. They need what you got. 100% of a people, 100%. You can't say 100% about a lot of things. 100% of us all going to leave here. Nobody gets out of this deal alive. So we need to, and then we can take this money and use that money as seed to fund our business. Does that make sense? Yeah. So leads are great, but guess what? There are companies out there that's blowing up and they ain't got no leads. We got leads, we got leadership. I mean, we got everything. So you got to drive depth, right? And then the other thing is this right here. In Think and Grow Rich, one of the 30 major causes of failure is uncontrolled desire for something for nothing. In America, we are plagued with thinking that we can get a lot and do very little. Almost do nothing and expect a miracle to happen, right? We can't turn water into wine, but I can show you how to turn an A1 into $500. So, but this is what you want to do right here. So you're going to have to get you some leads. Now, after you talk to the people you know, those are free, right? Leads are very expensive to create, okay? So we got to treat those like gold, okay? So you get your, then you're going to need some leads. So what you do is you call up the LPT or you go to lpt.simplybook.me, okay? Who's down with LPT? Yeah, you know me. So you want to call Clay Murders and his group and talk to Ash Land. That's right. You want to talk to Ash and look, figure out, hey, where the leads at? Where's a little hobby hole? I helped an agent the other day. She got 73 leads for under $220. Wow. That is crazy talk. That is crazy. I said, if you can get, I'm coming up there and run up there with you a couple of days, because you got to go where the leads are. So you find out where the leads are, and you also want to take NAU course 164. Now, we don't want you to OD on NAA University. You know what I'm saying? You can get up in there and stay up in there all day. You know, you do that stuff 10, 11 o'clock at night, okay? But take NAU course 164 so that you can educate yourself on the different type of lead types and stuff like that. But this is what I know right here. If you put a little bit in, you're going to get a little bit out. If you put a lot in, you're going to get a lot out, okay? So when you talk about leads, this is the formula right here. First of all, you see I got it listed as an investment. An investment is something where you expect a return in exchange for what you put in, right? When you spend money, you get a one-for-one return. After you spend that money, you can't do nothing about it. But when you invest money, you put in seed in the ground, and you are expecting a bigger harvest, right? So you put $100 in the ground, get you a good mix of leads. You're going to probably write you about $1,000 in premium, and you can get about $500 in the bank. Just like that right there, all right? Now, $300, you'll write about $3,000 and get about $1,500 in the bank. And then $500, you'll write about $5,000 and get $2,500 in the bank. Now, when I seen that right there, all them other pyramids I was in, to make $500, you had to sell a lot of stuff. I mean, first of all, you had to buy a kit and go in the hole. Put it on your credit card, call 10 friends and get $30 each. Y'all know how they tell you to do that stuff, right? But here, only thing you do is write a policy on yourself, get your mama covered. You love your mama, you love your brothers and them. You got your money to put seed in the ground, right? But this is where a lot of people mess up at right here. And I don't know if you see it, but this is what I see. When people are not good in sales, right, and they're not going out helping families, the first thing they want to do is shut off their, reduce or either shut off their GMR investment. Now, if you shut off the water from the spigot and you keep holding the hose, it's going to squirt out a little while, but eventually it's going to be air in the line, okay? So what you want to do is this right here. If you ain't good, and this is for the people like me, because I got my first week. This is my first week in the business right here on my activity book. And we're going to talk about the activity book in a minute, but I'll tell you this right here. If you are struggling with sales, going out helping families, if you just put more money in, by default, you're going to make more money. That don't seem right, because logically and emotionally, you feel like I need to stop because I'm bleeding, I'm not making any money. But you check this out. If you put $500 in and you only produce $2,500 in premium, you still going to have $1,250 hit your bank account minus your initial investment of $500, and you still $750 to the good. Right. That's more than putting in $100. And in this scenario right here, you want to talk about fertilizing your business. You done bought all them leads. You weren't good at selling them. You couldn't get them on the phone or whatever the case may be. Now you got additional leads that you can seed to people to help them get started. Does that make sense? So what you want to do is get comfortable and know the numbers. See, a lot of times we get so emotional, and we need that emotion. Gosh knows, if it wasn't for that weekly hotspot and that motivation and this weekly TWCs, I would be done. I would have been done probably about 4 years ago. So what I'm saying is, like, we need the motivation, but also know the numbers, because once you know the numbers, Stephen Davis talked about this last week, you can then start operating based on principles as opposed to how you feel. And remember, when we told you to choose your income, you ain't gonna get everybody on the phone. You ain't gonna sell everybody you sit down and talk with. I don't care if you was Jesus Christ and you told them their date of death, some people still ain't gonna buy. Right. I talked to a lady the other day. She said, if you was a real Christian, you would know when you're gonna die. I said, well, tell me when I'm gonna die. And she looked at me. I was like, you a real Christian, ain't you? You tell me. I said, now sign here, sign here, sign here. Got him. All right, so a lot of times, this is what get a lot of people, that step 2, work. All right? So with the Alliance, we got a system in place. I don't care who you are, who your mama is, who your daddy is. As long as you do, you're gonna be successful here. And this book right here, this activity book right here. There we go. The activity book. This book right here is the magic behind the business. This helps you master the mundane. You know what I'm saying? So you got to track your numbers because again, most people just don't know what their numbers are. And in the Millionaire Maker Manual on page 116, also I'll give you this resource too. Andy did an activity call 2 weeks ago, and it's EP 156, 3 Ways to Get Rich. Those two materials right there, the Millionaire Maker Manual and that audio, if that don't light you up, I left that meeting fire up. I called Mia, I was just fussing. She thought I was fussing at her, but I was really fussing at myself. I'm like, wow, I've been so stupid all these years. She was like, calm down, don't run off the road. So the activity book is the agent's most essential tool for keeping track of daily activities that will determine your success or your failure in this business. The activity book is designed for simplicity. It's very simple. So this is what we need to make sure that we're teaching people is how to fill out the activity book. There we go right here. That's what it looked like right there. So we got leads, right? They don't dial themselves. So when you call in a client and you call the phone number, you hit the green button on your cell phone, you put your little tick mark there right there, okay? You let it ring 3 times. And then if they don't answer, you hang up. Don't leave a message. Don't text them. You hang up, and you dial them back again. That's another ticky mark, right? And then they don't answer after 3 times. You hang up, and you put you another tick mark. Every time you hit that green button, you get a tick mark. And then when you get to 5, so now that's the cell phone, then the home number 1 time, and then you, whoop, that's a haystack right there. The person who can make the most haystacks are the people that win around here. So you do your dials, and then when they pick up the phone, and it's the person that filled out the lead or their husband, that's a contact, okay? And then if they say, yeah, you can come over to the house, boom, you got you an appointment, all right? And then if they there, you go up in the kitchen table, you sit down and you start explaining them, giving them the business, right? And then you track your applications. Now this is big. I love this column right here in the new book, referrals. You want to talk about people that say they don't have enough money for leads, but when you sell one, drive depth on that lead, you go right back to, because guess what? That person, Lord have mercy. There it is, I think, right there. How you go back to the page, Billy? Right there. Cool. I don't know how to get rid of that right there. I guess like that. All right, cool. So when you get a lead, you just replace you with the lead. The person who just bought a policy from you, they got a mama, daddy, brother, sister, cousin, baby mamas, all them got to get covered. So you start driving depth on your lead to increase your profitability. Those referrals are free leads. James Coleman, he did an audio on referrals, and I got it written down. It was May 24th, 2018, EP 58 on the Alliance Media app. So make sure you got the Alliance Media app downloaded on your phone as well as the band, okay? So, I know this seems boring, but this is some good stuff to me. So this was my activity book when I first got started with the Alliance. My first month in the business, I kept it, I still do it today. But basically, this is how it worked out for me. In the first 4 weeks, I did 619 dials. I know I won't work in halfway. Y'all seen my wife lately? She was a distraction for me. The kids would go to school, and then Taylor be in the bassinet. I'd be like, hey, girl, what you want? Let's watch a little Young and the Restless or something. You know, I'd die. I wasn't working like I was supposed to. Y'all don't judge me. I ain't judging y'all. All right? So the first 4 weeks, I did 619 dials. I talked to 95 people. I booked 51 appointments. I sat on 28, and I wrote 31 applications for $15,939.12. I know it's people like Brent Swindell. I know bro, he would kill me on that. You know what I'm saying? But this is the thing. Those was my numbers. you can't be ashamed of where you are. You have to accept where you are. So I knew right here, these are my numbers right here. So of the people that I dialed, I was talking to about 15% of those people, right? Of the people that I talked to, I was booking 53% of those people. And then I was sitting down and writing, I was writing multiple apps in a home. That's what I was doing. And I still do that. Brent Swindell taught me about putting together the family brokerage plan. And you cover mama, daddy, children, and everybody. Okay, you increase your app counts in the house as well. But this is the thing about activity. A lot of people say half the battle is showing up. Sort of true. Because this is the thing. I can say my skill didn't allow me to book as many people as I wanted to. My skill in the house affected how many people that I actually sold, right? So you can have an excuse for these right here. You can say this is skill. These are skill problems. But this right here, can't nobody make an excuse about this column because this is just showing up. Right. This is just want to. This is just, are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are you tired of coming to the hot spot every week and seeing all your other family members go up and talk about their week and you still don't want to make no phone calls? Like if you just, I tell people like this right here, the Bible talks about take no thought for tomorrow. I'm paraphrasing, okay? I ain't no theologian or nothing, so don't. I reads it now. I gets my reads in. But it says, if God care enough about the fowls in the air and make sure that they go without, don't you think he care enough about you? But see, the thing about a bird don't sit on one tree post and don't sit on one power line. That bird is humming around all day long, tweaking and tweaking and tweaking until he find that worm. So what you got to do is sometimes you just got to get outside of your house because that's where all the money is. All the money is not in your house. I don't care how much money you got. It's more outside of your house than in your house. That's why Andy Albright goes so much because he know all the money is outside the house, okay? You got to get outside the house. And as long as you're moving, I believe that God, that your higher power, whatever you call it, is going to drop something in your lap. Because I was at the Bojangles the other day. I was doing a ride along and Twan made me stop at Bojangles. Twan made me stop. But I exercised self-discipline. I just had a sausage patty, a cheese, egg, no biscuit, okay? So we sitting up in there, and Twan don't have no disregard for me and my weight loss challenges, right? He done got him a country ham, egg, and cheese biscuit, seasoned fries, and a Coca-Cola. That's a Coca-Cola or Pepsi, whichever one it is. But he just sitting there eating it, and then I meet this guy at the cash register. And he was in there debating back and forth with the cash register cashier saying, you know, y'all supposed to put this money back into my account, and I ain't seen it back in my account. Here's my bank statement. And the lady was like, yeah, we made a mistake. We'll fix it or whatever. So I just started talking to the guy. Come to find out, he had a VGLI policy, a Veterans Group Life Insurance policy, and it was getting ready to go up on him. Long story short, we exchanged information. He came back here to the office. We wrote a $300 a month premium for him right then on the spot, and we're working on a $50,000 annuity right there. But what if I was just sitting in the house wallowing in everything that won't go on right? I wouldn't have ran into that gentleman. So what the moral of the story is, get up and move. You can't just sit at the house and wonder, you know, I ain't got this, I ain't got that. 4 out of 10 people, like 4 out of 10 don't have no life insurance. And that's the statistic. Woo! A statistic, these big words. I don't know why I tried. Sometimes you start feeling yourself, and that'll humble you right quick. My vocabulary and Tia humbles me. So I don't know. Yeah, but anyway, so what you got to do, 4 out of 10 people do not have any life insurance. None whatsoever. 4 out of 10 people in your cell phone ain't got none. 4 out of 10 people walking at the Walmart ain't got none. 4 out of 10 people sitting in the pews at your church ain't got none. 4 out of 10 people in your family ain't got none. See, the thing about statistics, it don't matter. It's a general, it's a law. 4 out of 10 ain't got none. So why are you sitting there worried about what you can't do when 4 out of 10 people pass you every day? But do you have enough courage? Somebody say courage. Do you have enough urgency to let people know who you are, what you do, and how you can help them? That's Eric Belair right there. I learned that from Eric Belair right there. And then the thing about this right here, as you track your numbers, one of the things that I used to do every day is every day I would call Mark Marsalis when we first got started, and I would say, this is what I did today. This is what I did good. I didn't do so good here. Help me out. What am I doing wrong? What can I do better? See, when you can show your growing upline, your numbers, that takes your feelings out of it, and then they can really coach you. Because when I did that financial independence engine yesterday with Riddle, I was thinking that I should do one thing, but after we looked at the whole scenario, he was like, no, have you considered this? And that's the thing about a good coach. They don't tell you what to do. They just be like, hey, have you thought about this? It's your decision at the end of the day. But what you don't want to do is always call your growing upline complaining and telling them about what's going wrong, or either don't also be the other guy where you only talk to him and you think that him or her only want to hear what's going well. You have to keep it real, okay? And the only way to keep it real is just to tell it like it is. I'm trying to do the best I can. All right, I'm gonna get ready to turn this thing over to a Riddle in a second. So when you're making dials, okay, we already know people send in these forms. We got their height, weight, everything, all right? But this is, when it's time to make phone calls, it's time to make phone calls. It ain't time to clean laundry. It ain't a time to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It ain't a time to fry chicken. It's time to make the phone calls. See, this is the thing. What is it that you want? Do you want to eat today, or do you want to be able to pick any restaurant in the world that you want to go to? See, because if we sacrifice a little bit today, we will get to live like Andy Albright. We will get to live like Andy. Look at his shoes. Clean on the inside, clean on the outside. Candy coat, candy, baby. But when it's time to dial, it's time to dial. So this is a good rule of thumb. When you dialing, let's dial, baby. If you just getting started, the goal should be about $35 to $45 an hour. $35 to $40 an hour, and then you're going to book about 3 to 4 appointments an hour. Okay? And then when you've been around for a couple of weeks, you notice I say couple of weeks, you ain't got to be here 6 months to learn. Like, what we do is not hard at all. Like, there's a couple of things I tell people when they come to a hotspot, and you new people that's just watching today, me and Riddle either going to inspire you or give you hope. Probably it's more the hope part. Yeah. You be like, them rereads right there. But this is the thing. How did I learn how many dials I should be making? I called the authority on dialing. Paul Manichino. I called Paul Manichino. I was like, Paul, how many dials an hour do you make? And he was like, well, I do $50 an hour. I make 5 appointments an hour. My wife think I'm sexy when I dial. That's what he said, right? So I just adopted that, but then I put my own little mantra to it. I make $50 an hour. I book 5 appointments an hour. These people are ready for me to come over to their house, and they're going to let me up in there, and they're probably going to feed me when I get there. And guess what happened every single week? $50 an hour, 5 appointments an hour. So when it's time to dial, it's time to dial, okay? The other thing is this right here. People are lying to you. Don't get all emotionally involved to what they're saying on the phone. Their job is to not let you come over. Your job is to get over there, okay? We're playing a game. They don't even know all the rules. We know all the rules. We know what to say when they say, I don't want you to come over there. We know all that stuff. So just do what you're trained to do and not listen to what they say. You acknowledge it, you ignore it, you move on. I was doing a conference call yesterday letting people hear me dial, right? And the lady got on the phone, she was like, I don't feel too good. I said, hey, this is Terry, how you doing? She said, I ain't feeling too good today. I was like, all right, well, I ain't gonna hold you long. And the lady called me back. She was like, Terry, you act like you didn't even care about her. Like most of the time, you know, if it was me, I would have said, I'm sorry that you're not feeling well. Like, I was like, why would I get in the mud with her and waddle? My job is to get into her house, okay? So I acknowledge it by just saying, I ain't gonna hold you long, but listen, I got this form, I got to come over there. You around the house in the mornings, afternoons, and we booked the appointment. Now, when I get over there, I will be a little more empathetic, like, especially like if she's still feeling like she's down, but you can't be too empathetic because then you'll give them a reason to tell you to try to come back. But now I done spent gas money, babe, I'm coming up in here. All right, so you got to be, okay, so now you done made the appointments. Now it's time to go to the house, okay? You got to, when you leave the house, you got to be prepared. A lot of people go to a gunfight toting a slingshot. That don't work out too well for the slingshot carriers. See, you got to have your ATM, okay? Look, I would leave home without my wallet, but if I ain't got my ATM, I'm coming back to the house. I'll call Tia in a minute. Look, you're going to have to meet me somewhere with my wallet later on. But if I ain't got my ATM, I'm going back to the house to get my ATM because this is the basics. A lot of people don't even do the ATM because when they call you from the house, they asking you questions that they should have already discovered in the ATM. So, then you got to make sure you got the lead. You know, you got to have some leads out there. You got to have your green sheets and your ERS referral sheets. You got to have some applications. Look, you done dialed a person, they done answered. That's an act of Congress almost by itself. Now you get over there and they're there. Everything is lining up. You get in the house and then you call your upline to get help on the product selection. And then your upline be like, yeah, right, I'm forced a strong foundation. And you be like, oh, I ain't even got no applications. All right, well, go online and, it's like, you ain't got no application. Like, did you think you wasn't going to win when you left home? You got to have your application. You got to get your mind right. We going out to make friends, not make sales, okay? Now, I'm going to give you this, and then we're going to get up out of here. Product knowledge. You ain't got to know all the products, okay? I'm getting ready to now, Jane Hill and Nick Tofflenboss are the product gurus in my world, okay? And Gina Hawks. That's right, Gina Hawks. Them three people right there, they gets me out of jams, okay? But this all you really need to know about products to go out here and win. There are three types of insurance. You got accidental, you got term, and you got permanent. Accidental, what do you think accidental does? It pays out in the event of a accident. You ain't even got to be out there on NA. You knew that by just listening to the words, right? Term. Term is good for a term of time. Ain't no cash value after you finish paying for it. If you still alive, hey. And then permanent lasts a lifetime, and it builds up cash value, okay? Those are the only three types of life insurance there are out there, all right? Then there are three types of death benefit. Level. All right, a level death benefit, if it's $100,000, the death benefit is going to be $100,000 for the term, or if it's permanent, for the whole life of the contract, right? Then you got an increasing death benefit. What do you think an increased death benefit does? It increases. Most of the time, that's going to be on like an IUL, right? And then you got either a graded or a modified death benefit. I better have another sheet of paper. Billy, throw me up a sheet of paper. I don't know how to work this stuff. Billy, can you throw me up a sheet of paper? There you go. It's coming. Wait for it. All right. There we go. Mm-hmm. And okay. And then there's this right here. So you got your level death benefit, right? You got an increasing death benefit. Then you got a graded. If you die in the first year, you're going to probably get 30% of the death benefit. Accidental payout, right? 70% the second year, and after that, 100% death benefit is available to you. Those are only, that's graded right there. And then modified is, you got a 2-year waiting period. If you die, medical rate is in the first 2 years, you get 110% of your premium back. After that, 100% of your premium, the death benefit is available. That's all, like, if you know those basic concepts, like, you would be surprised how many people would ask you in a house, like when they call you, hey, they want to know if they get a term, can they borrow against, like, you passed the test. You see, but if you know these basic concepts, you know more than 90% of the consumers, all right? And the last thing I'll tell you is this right here. When you are in a house, there are 3 reasons people don't buy from us. Number 1, they don't like us. Number 2, there's no need. And number 3, we done quoted them something they can't afford. So going through the ATM, your job is to handle those 3 objections. You get them to like you by being genuinely interested in them, not interesting. It's about them, asking them good questions. You want to build the why, and I learned this from Robbie, 5 layers deep. Most people stop at, I just want to make sure if something happened to me, the house paid for. Well, then you got to ask Susan, hey, Susan, if he died today, where you going to go? How long you going to be able to stay here? Where the kids going to go? You can move in with your family? How that make you feel? I'm going to make sure the day I leave here, got a plan in place. You know what I'm saying? And go to course number 123. That's right, in-home presentation. Brant Swindell, Justin Bailey, they are killing it out there. And then the last 4 things that we do in the house is this right here. Everybody in every house, you got to pick up a phone or pick up a check. I was talking to an agent today. He's like, Terry, I'm not making as much money as I want to. I'm like, bro, when is the last time you picked up the phone in the house? You're putting people with the wrong product, and they get mad because they get denied, and you get mad because you ain't getting paid. Call people from the house. Number 2, you got to fill out a green sheet. Everybody got to fill out a green sheet. You got to find the money, and then you throw it up to Chris Norris and Kelly Hook and let them close the money, and then you get a bam in your checking account, baby. Bam! You got to get referrals. Again, James Coleman is the authority on referrals, and then you got to look around at pictures on the wall and be like, hey, you got any nieces or nephews, Sharp? We looking for some help. We covered up. They got me running all over the county, burning up all my gas. Get humble. Say, hey, we need some help. You got to find the people. They are out there. The question is, will you find them? And finding people is what is going to bless you. God uses people to bless you. Whether it be a client or it be an agent, God will find the right people to bless you. And I tell you, Andy Riddle has been a godsend into my life, me and Tia's life. Every single week, his consistency. This man is consistent. He don't get too high. He don't get too low. He even you can log in to his website and watch him work. Not even scheduled, because he know he's going to be working. And I see it week in and week out, and his organization is smoking, bro. I would love to be your girlfriend, I tell you. Because I know y'all eating good. I know y'all doing the things that you dreamt about. And I'm so excited to be trying to copy you. That's true. Yeah. It would be a little awkward if I was your girlfriend, right? At least I'll be hot. So y'all welcome my buddy, Mr. Andy Riddle.
Thank you, Terry. Terry, that was awesome with the basics on the selling side with Terry going through it. He makes you laugh, and he makes it real simple. And the aspects of doing that, it's so important. Like Terry started off talking about why did you get in this business? Like when you saw the opportunity the first time, what were you thinking? What was making you excited? In the aspects of going out there. And I think back to when I first saw it 12 years ago, what made me excited was the aspects of building a business. I love the aspect that you could go out there and make sales and you can go make money, but I love the idea that you can go out there and build a business. And I find when I travel the country, I meet a lot of people that were similar. Like they liked the sales spot, they liked the leads, but they liked that they could also build their business too. Mm-hmm. And in the Green Book, Andy talks about as part of the Alliance system, it's a 50-50 thing. Right. It's where we go out there, we sell, and we recruit and build, and it's 50-50. Right. And if you even look at the activity book, it's 50-50 on the page. Right. And I find a lot of times people get so distracted with what they're doing, they do the top part. Mm-hmm. They go out there because that's the most urgent to them, but it's not really feeling what the why or the thing that made them excited to go do it, and then it leads to the frustration. That's right. And going out there and keeping the basics simple of what you're going to do. I was on a call the other night with Andy, and we were talking about some things, and we were talking about the aspects of a new agent getting started and running around like crazy and going to run all the appointments and really just trying to create that cash that Terry was talking about to really fund their business, but they don't find time to go in there and put into what they're doing as like their job or their dream aspects. Right. They get the job done, but they're not doing the dream side of it. And I like to look at this business as a 50-50 aspects of that, is you have a full-time job at the beginning to go out there and sell and pay your bills and do that aspect. That's right. But you also have the part-time job to build your dream, and they forget to do that step. So Andy when I was talking to Andy, he was like, The way agents should do it is while they're out there running appointments, they should be bringing agents along with them to ride along and do that.
That's right.
But also other agents they have. So if Mia's one of my new agents that I just recruited, have Mia, her house, have a bunch of people invited over. So when I'm done running appointments, I take me and the agent ride when we go over to Mia's house, and she has like 10 other of her friends there. And we sit down with them and kind of go through the business with them, have some sodas and some chips and just hang out. And just talk about the business, because when you're done with the job part of your business, the sales side of your business, then you're going to your part-time or your second job, and you're going down there and building your dream. And the cool thing with those parties, guys, when you sit down and Mia has 10 friends over, you get talking about what you do. It's a real relaxed atmosphere. You're showing them what we do. They're getting excited. You find the most excited person there, and you go talk to them and get to know them and find out what they're talking about, and say, hey, you know what? If tomorrow night, if you can invite like 10 people over to your house, I'll come over to your house tomorrow night, and I'll bring some of my buddies over. We'll hang out at your house, and we'll just do the same thing there and start building your team.
That's big.
It's a way to get your business going and sneak it inside of your schedule that you're doing now. And it's where you're out there doing both things, because it's a 50-50 business. And the basics of that is keeping it basic. In the Green Book, Andy talks about in the 4 basics of recruiting, he talks about the beginning as the space shuttle. And when the space shuttle takes off, it uses about 75% of its fuel to get 6 inches off the ground.
Right.
And very much in this business, you're going to find for you to get your recruiting or your building side of your business going, you're going to use 75% just to get the momentum going, get it going to do that. But the cool thing that I've always loved is you can do it as fast as you want and put that massive activity in there to go create that momentum to get you moving. And in that ratio. So the more people that you're talking to, the more people you're meeting with, the more people you're sitting down with inside the homes and doing things, it's awesome. I'm going to use this thing, see if I can figure it out, Terry. I already got a clean sheet up here.
Yeah.
Billy hooked me up.
That's what happened when you make $80 grand a month. They just do stuff for you.
So if this is the beginning of the week. Beginning of the week, when you're in sales, you have no money. You go out there, work, and make some sales. At the end of the week, they pay you.
That's right.
We call that settling up. Once they pay you, you go back to zero. Next week you go out there and make some sales. They pay you some money. They settle up. You go back to zero.
That's right.
Go back out and repeat it. A lot like a job. And that's what I look at with our sales job. It's more of a self-employed job. There's a great book that taught me a lot of business skills from Andy recommended me read years ago was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. A bunch of us just got done reading in our organization and talking about it. In there, he talks about the 4 ways to make money.
Right.
You can either be an employee, you can be self-employed, you can be a business owner, or you can be an investor.
Right.
The first one's the employee. That's where you're working in corporate America. The people like to be safe. They like to have benefits, like health benefits, 401ks, and all that stuff. They're believing all those lies that they're being told and just think they have that consistent paycheck. Then you have the self-employed person. That's someone that likes to control everything that they do.
Yeah.
You know, they like to go out there. They don't want to have other people to rely on. They don't want to have to worry about it. It's just them. A lot like our sales opportunity.
Right.
And both of these ones here look a lot like that. And it is very hard to get rich and free.
Yeah, it is.
Because you're just always going back to zero. And what Andy's put together on the building side is, in my first year in this business, in my first year I went out there and built aggressively and was talking to people and going forward. And I went out and made $100,000 a year income just off the building aspects.
Right.
And it was talking to people. And the great thing that Andy showed me was once you do that, year 2 starts and you're already at $100,000. Even though I got paid the $100,000, you don't settle back up. And then year 2, you go out there and do whatever you have to do, and then to say it's $250,000.
Right.
Then you got paid that, you don't have to settle up, and then you keep going up. That's much easier to get rich and free.
Yeah, it is.
Than this scenario here. And it gives you the ability to go out there and do that. Now there's a form that, let's see if I can figure. Whew, look at that. Terry, I'm like a natural at this thing already.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, that's what happened when you make $80 grand a month. Everything is just natural. Everything is natural.
Just pops up for me, you know. So, just lucky and good looking, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. Oh boy.
But in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, after that he built a board game called Cashflow.
Yeah.
It's a great game. I love playing it, and it teaches you business-like mentalities, and it puts you in situations where you go out there and learn how to build a business in lieu of what your job is.
Right.
And in the game, you get to pick what you want to be. You can be a janitor, you can be a cop, you can be a teacher, you can be a lawyer, you can be a doctor, whatever you want to be. And it gives you the financial engine of what that career looks like. And that's your job. And wherever you're at with that job, you play the game to see if you get what they call out of the rat race. And you're playing through the game. Andy created this a few years back, the Financial Independent Engine, which is identical to that game.
Right.
He took it from the game. And what I'd love to do is, me and Terry and Tia went over theirs yesterday. They filled it out with all their information, and we sat down at Panera, had some lunch,
Yeah, we did.
and we went over that sheet, and we're just looking at it, and all I'm doing is I'm taking their card, their financial situation now, and playing the game in my head of what I would do to get out of the rat race, what I would do to get financial free. How would we play the game with those cards, with the cards coming up, with the opportunities that we have? You know, and I told Terry, he liked it, so I'm going to use it. But this right here is your green sheet for your financial future.
Boom!
It's the green sheet,
That's
how
bad
to
the
build
bone
it for
right there,
you.
bro.
It's the same thing. It's just taking that green sheet and teaching you how to get financially free. And the awesome thing about the Rich Dad Poor Dad game, or the cash flow game, is you can you can play this. You can play this with where you're at.
Right.
And it's things you look at. You know, it was probably 10 years ago. My business was doing really well. I had done some stuff, and I made a financial decision off my emotion. You know what I mean? And I remember Andy calling me, asked me to go do something. And I was like, Andy, I just spent a bunch of money paying off a credit card, so I can't do that. And the reason I paid off a credit card because it was like $40,000 of debt. And I was like, I just wanted to pay it off. He's like, well, how much was that interest on it? I was like, oh, that was a 0 interest credit card. I just wanted to pay it off. And he's like, well, how far behind were you on it? I was like, oh, I was up on my payments and everything. I just wanted to go away. But now, and it kept me from doing something else. And I remember Andy using the analogy. He said, if you were playing cash flow, how would you have done it? I was like, oh, heck no, I wouldn't have done that.
Right.
He's like, why wouldn't you have done it in the game? I was like, because I want to win the board game. And he's like, I got it. You don't want to win the game at life. Ooh. And it was one of those things with the opportunities and knowing what I wanted to do. So when I play this game all the time with just about every opportunity or every decision that I make.
That's right.
And the thing, and with the game is when you play the game, there's these cards, there's opportunity cards, there's big opportunities, small opportunities, there's market stuff, like selling stuff. But then there's these one cards called the doodads.
Uh-oh.
And those cards are fun. I'll tell you what, I was playing with Mike Hartley the other day, and he just got a brand new TV for $2,000 when he got that card, and he was so excited. He was like, you can come over and watch the Super Bowl. I got this big new TV. And I was like, he was not excited. In the game, he was not. But that's what it's like. When you get the doodad, it's going to be like, congratulations, you just bought a new big screen TV. Or it's going to say, congratulations, you just got a new boat. Pay the bank this much money and add this much debt to your liability sheet. People don't get fired up in the game about that stuff. They get really, really mad. And they're like, this crap, I don't want this. But they make you take it. You know, but in life, they're out there killing themselves to buy doodads. Like they go buy that big screen TV and they're inviting 100 people over to the house to show off the TV. You know, they go buy that boat and they're doing that. And it's okay to have those things when the time is right financially in your business. That's right. Because what people do is they suffocate their business with doodads.
Wow.
A new person that's trying to get the rocket off the ground to use 75% of the gas to get 6 inches off the ground, they're spending the gas money before they even get it to start.
That's right.
And if they would just give up those doodads for a short period of time until they get that off the ground, it would change their business, it would change their life in the aspects. And it's little things. It's dinners out, it's movies, it's those things. Give them up for a short period of time and get your spaceship going off the ground and going to it. Get with your managers. This is one of my favorite things to do with my organization, with my guys, is going out there and going through this independent financial engine and just playing the game with them, with where they're at. And you take their incomes and then you got their expenses and the business expenses, but what you're trying to do is you're trying to grow that residual income up there. What's going to make you free in this business, and in the aspects of what you do. And there's ways to do it. There's ways to spend money to do it. There's ways to do warm market to do it. There's a bunch of different ways. And Andy talks about in the Millionaire Maker Manual the 4 basics of recruiting. And the first one is getting a list of names.
That's right.
And it's getting the list. Everyone I've ever met, I'm telling you right now, you have $1 million income for your business in your phone. If you would just call it. with the contacts that you have and if you work it right. So through the list of names is getting a list of names from people that you hired. First call your list of names, but then get a list of names from the people that you hire and sit down with them and help them do it. Show them what you're doing with the list of names. Get 25 to 50 people out of their phone. Show them how to download it into MC Backup, or even just have them pull out their phone and write down some names. But sit down with them and do it, and call with them. So if Terry was on a list and I was calling Terry, if I had me and Andy Albright calling him together, it's almost like, and Andy explains it in the Green Book this way, it's like a 2-on-1 fast break. It's us two against him. It's hard for him to stop us from scoring when there's two of us working against him on that stuff. And you're calling the list of names to help that guy. And really what you do, so you get the list of the names and then you're going through there. You're going on that fast break. The second thing Andy talks about is the phone call. First is it's checking interest. So we're going to have a phone call calling Terry to check his interest in how open he is to do something else. Not necessarily quit his job, but it may be to do something on the side on a sideline basis to make some extra money. We're checking the interest to see what he's doing. Now here's the thing, guys. The first time you start calling lists, activity is more important than your quality.
That's right.
So creating the activity, you are going to be bad at it to start. And it's one of those things that the activity and putting the more numbers in will create the quality of your phone call and figuring out to do it.
That's right.
But what you want to do is as you start doing that, it's the ready, fire, aim method that Andy talks about. It's just go do it, start doing it. But you're checking the level of interest if they're to make some money. Once you find that they are interested in making some money on the sideline, what you need to do is schedule a time within the next 24 hours to sit down with them face to face.
That's big.
If they are at a distance, set up a time with them to get on like Zoom and do a conference call, the face where you can see each other and sit down with them that way. But get down where you can see each other face to face. It's what we like to say, book a meeting from a meeting, bam, fam them.
Bam, bam.
Bam, fam them right away to get down where you can sit down with them after they check the interest on the phone call, and then we do the interview aspects. It's a quality interview. Your goal in that interview is to ask more questions than they ask you. It's almost like taking a checklist and making sure that you're asking more questions of what they do. Andy always talks about in the Green Book that keep it simple when you're explaining what we do. It's with the great carriers we work with, the lead system, the training system, and how we make money.
That's right.
But keep it simple. It's not, people don't come aboard really for any of that. They come aboard because they're going to see the relationships and how friendly we are and how much we love hanging out with each other.
That's right.
So you just want to be basic on that side. Your goal is to find out about them, find out about their interests, what they want to accomplish. You want to find out if they fit our profile that we're looking for, the Alliance Aiding Analysis. You're looking to see how well they fit that profile. Tell them we're hiring. Tell them we're looking to hire sharp people. Make it feel like we're not just looking to get a million people out there. We're looking to find the sharp ones, and we feel they could be one of them.
That's
So
right.
let them know what we're looking for. And then once you do the interview, get them to the next hot spot as fast as you can. You want to get your new recruits to see you show the plan when you're sitting there with them at Starbucks or on the thing, but you also want to get them seeing it twice inside that first week.
That's right.
You want to get them when their excitement level's high and you get it very high. Get them to that local hotspot wherever they're at. When you get them seeing the plan twice inside of a week in a short period of time, their excitement level grows unbelievably from that point. Once you get the list, call the people, do the quality interview, and all that should be done in a 24 to 48 hour period, the first one. Get them to do that first. And then after that, after you get them to that hot spot and they get to see the team and they get to go stuff, we were at Greensboro last night.
It was smoking hot.
Woo! And there was like 80 people in there, but just the environment of that meeting, getting people there, and that's in the hotspots all over the country. Mm-hmm. But when you get them there, follow up the day after. Bam, fam them again from that hotspot. Be following up the Greensboro people, all their guests. They should be following them up with today, and check and when their interests are high, and get them moving forward on the follow up. So if they are licensed, get them fast tracked. Get them contracted, start the training process, start giving them the materials they need to do to move forward, get them moving. If they're non-licensed, get them fast-tracked and get them signed up for class and help them through the process.
That's right.
One of the things, guys, that you'll lose agents as you're bringing them on is when they start getting the first sign of resistance and you're not there with them, they will stop. Mm-hmm. You need to be good in the aspects of knowing resistance is going to come and you're there with them, and they know you're there with them to get through those battles. That's how you get people to stick around. Because what's going to happen is they're going to sign up for class and they're going to fail the first quiz at the thing, and they don't realize that they can take it again. And they think it's just over, and they're like, well, I guess this is a sign I should just stay at my job.
Right.
But if you are with them and showing them through that and how to get through the class, that helps them through the process. Or if they're licensed and they're going through the contracting stuff and they don't understand what one of the questions are, or they can't move forward because they didn't fill out a section on the online contract, and they're like, well, I guess it wasn't meant to be. You're not there to help them through those simple things. Mm-hmm. Be there to help your guys. Be there through any of the resistance to get them going. And find out why they want to make extra money. Find out what they're looking for. Like I said, when I went to my first hotspot, I was excited about the opportunity to get free and build a business. What is the reason they got excited? They're answering your phone call the next day or meeting up with you again. They're excited. If they weren't, they would not answer and they'd disappear.
That black
you know,
hole got 'em.
We always say they fly through Miami, MIA.
That's a good one right there. What
So,
do you think about that, Tinsley?
That's another one, Tinsley. That's right. That's right. So teach them the basics. Get good at really teaching them the basics. And then once you get a new guy going, go through those steps with them. Go through getting the list of the names. Go through making the phone call and checking interest with their friends. Help them with that. Help them start building towards their dreams. Meet with their guys and do quality interviews, and then get them to the hot spots and follow up with them. Continue that tree through. You could do like what Terry was talking about. You could get them, and then you could do their parents and their brothers and sisters and their cousins and the baby mama and all that kind of stuff.
Everybody got to come.
You can go through all of that aspects. And then another part is getting people started is GS3M. It's getting the GS3, sitting down with them and really doing it. The GS3 is getting started. That's when you get them started, you sit down with them and find them what they want to do, what their dreams are, what they want to accomplish. Get to know them as people. Let them know that you're in with them and you're wanting to help them win. It's how can we help them win quick. I talked at a national convention about creating momentum, and it's just a streak of wins. Like where I'm at in this business is I'm in a streak of wins. And as you continue to win and you want to help them get on a winning streak of wins as fast as you can, if a loss is there, you want to help them win that game, that loss. Turn that loss into a win. You want to help them through it. So you got to sit down with them, get them started, and get their winning streak started.
That's right.
The next one is sit down and find out their goals. Set steps for them to win, to help them reach their goals, but sit down, find out what their goals are, and say, this is the game plan, this is the steps that you do to be a winner. The 8 steps to success. I remember when I started, my goal was to make $100,000 my first year, and I remember Andy giving me that guarantee of if I did these 8 steps on a weekly basis, he would guarantee me that income. And every time I do a hotspot or I sit down with someone, I give them the exact same guarantee that Andy gave me. That's big. Because he said to me, he said, if you only make $75,000, I'll write you a check for the other $25,000. Gave me confidence to win. He did throw in the caveat of, but if you make more, I had to write him a check for what I made over. So anyone that takes that deal with me has that same but. But it gives you the guarantee of the aspects of that. And sit down with them and LLC them. Get a list, get them licensed, and get them signed up for the conference.
That's right.
LLC them. Why do you want to do that right away? Because that's a winning streak. When they start making decisions, you're creating the winning streaks for them. And you're creating those things for them to start winning early and winning quick in the business there. And then the last one is go serve. Get involved in their lives. Get involved with what they're going to do. When you know their goals and you've game planned how to go start winning and achieve those goals, map it out with them, sit down with them, but then put it in your schedule too, how you can help them be successful and win.
Right. The
better you get at putting stuff in your schedule to help other people on your team win, the better the relationships you'll see. You know, I always look at Paul Roberts' team when we're at conferences, and I was like, his team just loves him.
Yeah, they do.
They love him because Paul's helped them win.
That's right.
And the more you help your team win, the crazier your team's going to be for you. The more loyal they're going to be for you. The more they're just going to go out there and fight for you to win. And it pulls that camaraderie together in the team. And Andy Albright is the ultimate guy that loves all of us in the aspects that he wants us to win.
That's right.
Like I've never met a man that would go out there and fight for you so hard or for me so hard just to help me win.
That's right.
You know, and it's all over the alliance.
Yeah,
you have them all over the hot spots to just go out there and continue to win and do it. But it's through the 4 basics of recruiting, and it's keeping it simple on that aspects that you just keep moving forward through the recruiting aspects and doing those things. I'm going to go back to this sheet real quick, but Terry, how do I erase this thing?
It probably, just say erase.
Erase.
No, just hit your hand right
Oh,
here.
this thing. That works. Ooh.
Oh, it just didn't happen that time for you, huh? Oh boy.
Back at our office, I have an IT manager. It's Chris Long, and he usually can do all that stuff for me. So they actually don't let me touch the electronic stuff before hotspots, or ever. You know, I learned early on that if you don't want to do something, just screw it up a few times, and they'll just say, "We'll take it over." So all that
Yeah,
stuff. My favorite emoji.
Yeah,
Your favorite emoji.
everybody make mistakes.
So, but when you go through your independent financial engine and you put it together and you want to sit down with it, what you need to do is you go through the monthly incomes and you put on here that has the JOB paycheck. So if you have a current job, put your paycheck there. If you have your personal sales there, if you have any other types of income, Andy puts on here rental income, if you have any rental properties or stuff, the income coming through that side. Up here, early on, you probably don't have any override income, but like when I was working with Terry and Tia, they do, so we went through and he had it broken out by legs of the override income they make there. Down here with your liabilities, it's mortgages, car loans, student loans, all that kind of stuff. You're going to put on there as liabilities. Up here is going to be your assets, any assets that you have. So it's going to be real estate assets, 401ks, any of those things there. The good thing when you look at these up here, if they have like old 401ks or their old job and stuff like that, you get in like the green sheet already.
Right.
And I talked to Chris Norris at conference, and he was telling me even with new people, when you have them, if they have a green sheet on their personal finances, he will call them and help them with that too. It doesn't have to be a client off a lead. He'll help on that side. And this would be a great spot to find out if they do have some assets and get them in touch with Chris to help on that side. Monthly expenses is really just your monthly expenses off of the liability. So it's your rent, car payment, student loans, credit cards, any of your expenses there. And then the bottom one down here is your business expenses.
Right.
And when you look at these sheets, you're just trying to figure out what can you do to elevate someone to get to the next level. You know, so in the game, in the board game, they assume your monthly income's higher than your expenses. If that is not your case, we need to fix that quick, and it may be why they're looking at doing something on the side with us.
Right.
Okay? So if that is the case, I have an urgency level to help them there, whatever I have to do. If it's helping them get through class quickly, if it's helping them learn how to, book appointments, if it's making them make sales inside the home, if it's helping them call their mamas, their daddies, their brothers, sisters, cousins, baby mamas to get set up appointments.
Yeah.
I'm helping them and teaching them how to do that stuff to get that caught up quickly. Let's assume that's higher with the person you're working with. Then you start looking at what their goals are. Terry and Tia, one of their goals was to hit agency manager in the next 60 days. So we came up with a game plan to do that. We were looking at the opportunities that they already had up here where we could work and invest and put action plans together to help achieve that aspect with what they had here. But we didn't stop there. Terry wants to get to EVP in the process that you're going to go through doing it. So you're looking at where you can take the extra from here and place it down here as expenses in your business. If it's through contests, through helping people out, through moving them through their businesses so you can create more of the passive residual income up here. It is just a fun game, guys. It is a fun game to play, and it's teaching people not to spend on those doodads. Because the one thing in this one is in the board game, when you land on doodads, you have to buy it. And when you land on a doodad, you decide if you want to buy it. Ooh. And it gives you the ability to move your game faster. There's also a spot you can land on where you get a baby. You know what I mean? I played it with my daughter. It was kind of a weird one.
It's not happening with us.
Yeah, no. But I was playing with my daughter, and she had a baby, and she asked if she could give it back because she understood how the expenses work. I had to explain to her it doesn't work that way, but she was just like, she didn't want all those.
That's a good lesson right there.
Yeah, she didn't want all those debts. This game will teach you a lot of stuff. But it gives you the opportunities. And what I look at is as you're building a team, each one of your organizations that you bring aboard and you're helping work is an opportunity. Every time you place an ad, it's an opportunity. Every time you run into someone at Walmart or wherever you're at, or your clients and you're recruiting across the table, those are opportunities. Those are the opportunity cards you're flipping over, and it's figuring out how you can make the most out of that opportunity. Terry shared like through James Coleman's referrals and all that stuff, the opportunities that you have to increase your numbers and your production on sales. The same thing on recruiting, with through listed names, going to the in-home, going to their house and having them have friends over and having a little party and talking about like what we can do. That's like the referral base on the recruiting side, where you can explode your business very simply and very effectively and just get it going. And it's just watching your doodads. You know, it breaks my heart to watch someone go out there and spend $1,000 on a new TV, but then when I ask them and say, have you run an ad or something like that, they say, I don't have the money to do that. It's the little tiny things that are struggling. They're strangling their business at the beginning and making it so much harder than it needs to be if they would just give up little tiny things over and over again. Like instead of just going out to dinner every week and, you know, just eat in for a month. And the money you saved off of that put towards an ad. And that ad may find you just one person, but that one person can get 10 people inside their house. You go sit down with them and you just tree that out. You just build it out. And it's that little tiny stuff to grow their business and the aspects of those things. And it's looking through, and it drives me nuts because the opportunities are everywhere. Like even as I say it, I'm like, what opportunities am I not taking full advantage of to help grow this and help grow what we're doing? And it gives you the ability to go out there and build a huge organization very, very quick. And it's and it's funny, Terry, because we've talked about this. It's when Andy came out with the new systems and the new level charts and all that, and we're like, what have we been doing wrong all this time? It's all in the green book.
Yep.
It's all inside this book, and this book didn't just come out. And I'm like going back and reading the list of names and how to get the stuff and the 4 basics. It's inside this book.
Sure is.
And it's the aspects that go out there, and you can go out there and build a huge organization, and it's not spending thousands of dollars on it. It's spending to get the ball rolling. I'm all about adding people in your organization through ads. The reason you would ever, and we call that width. The only reason to add width is to get depth.
That's right.
So it's to give you options to move with. But you have options in your phone. You have options with the people you're talking to or running into in your everyday life. And then if you want to add ads and find more options, but the options are to get depth. And it's to work those lists, because that's where you're going to find sharper people not applying for ads. You're finding people that are, you're finding the people off list of names that they're not applying for ads because they have a job, but they're looking for an opportunity.
That's right.
They're looking for that freedom. It makes me think of 12 years ago when I met Chris and Courtney Long. Chris was not applying for jobs. I met him at a Japanese steakhouse. He was sitting next to me, but he was not applying for jobs, but he was looking aggressively for opportunities to get free in what they want to do. And it's when I left my job at Merrill Lynch, I walked away from a $200,000 a year salary at Merrill Lynch to come do this. Once I saw the opportunity and what I want to do, and I saw that I could replace my income through the sales system, but I was not interested in moving from a $200,000 income to a $200,000 sales job. It was not what excited me. What excited me was it gave me the opportunity to get free and have a business and build a business where I could go out there and enjoy the incomes that it comes with it, but also enjoy the time to have the freedom to go have fun.
That's right.
And then when I met Andy Albright 12 years ago, I watched what he did with Spencer and Haley, and I watched the trips they went on. I watched the way that Spencer and Haley looked at Andy as a father, Andy and Jane as a father and a mother, and I was like, I want that lifestyle with my kids.
That's right. And
I want to go out there and do those kind of things. And it's been cool over the last 12 years. It's been nuts with the stuff that me and my kids got to do. We go on trips all the time. We've been out to California like 6 times in the last year. We stay in crazy Airbnbs in the Hollywood Hills. We rent whatever car they want to drive that time when we're out there to go, because you can't just rent a Kia and go out in LA. You know,
no,
you can't do that. You know, but so we've rented a Porsche, a Range Rover, you know, all those kind of things. Just you're in LA, you got to ride around in style, you know.
That's right.
And it's hanging out there and doing those things and watching my kids with the aspects of doing it. And we do it we fly first class. Like they think it's the coolest thing that the front part of the plane gets served food and the back part doesn't, and they know the difference, but it's continuing to do what we do, and it's all chasing the vision that Andy's put out there, because I just love Andy's vision is so big. All my goals that I've ever wanted to accomplish fit inside of what he's created here at the Alliance. Right. And I just know whatever goals you guys have and whatever it is, your goals and your visions can fit inside that too. As long as you keep it simple with the basics that Terry and I talked about today, your business will explode faster than you can ever imagine if you're willing to do that. And putting those things inside of it, it's cool. We decided to go to the 2 years ago. We went to Thanksgiving in the Bahamas. It was another one where I can't cook. So I was like, so I had my kids for Thanksgiving, and I was like, I can't cook, so there's no reason to do a big Thanksgiving dinner. So I was like, let's go to the Bahamas. Let's go to the Atlantis. And it's funny, I heard on a TWC Andy saying he was going to the Atlantis for it as well. I saw him text, hey, I'm going to be there at the same time. He's like, NC State's playing a basketball game. I was like, I'm taking the kids. He's like, I'll get us all tickets. We'll sit on the floor, watch the games and all that stuff, hang out with the players and the coaches, which was cool. My kids, they don't like basketball that much, but they thought it was cool when their friends were sending them pictures of them sitting courtside on the thing. Then all of a sudden they started liking the basketball game. You know what I mean? So it's like they're like, there I am on that, and their friends are texting them pictures of the game and stuff, and they're all fired up from that. But on the way back, we flew back on Andy's private jet, and it was when he only had one. So it was the King Air, and we flew back from there back up to Burlington. I remember when we landed, Andy asked my daughters how they liked it, and Reese said, she goes, I loved it, but I know you're getting another jet in like a month. What are you doing with this one? And Andy told her something like, I probably rent it out, I'll use it here and there and do other stuff with it, but I'm not really sure. Other than that, I may keep it for a little while. And he goes, why? What do you think I should do with it? And my daughter said, I think my dad should buy it.
That's right.
And
I agree.
Yeah, that's what Andy, he agreed with her too. You know what I mean? But he's expanding my kids' visions to what can be accomplished with hard work and discipline and going out there and doing that. That's right. And it's one of those things. It's I do the business for my kids, what I can provide for my kids, and the vision I can do. I do what I can do for them. That's right. But as part of that is I'm growing. As my kids grow up, I'm a role model for them in the sense that I need to give them the role model that knows you just don't sit on the couch and get rich.
That's right.
They have to see their dad go work.
That's right.
That they have to see how we get those rewards that we can do. Because I know Spencer and Haley always watched Andy travel the country, fighting for their dreams and their freedom, and in return is they got to do those cool stuff. That's right. And build that up. So Terry, that's kind of my recruiting side, man.
Yeah, man, you killed it. So speaking of big opportunity, like Andy always does a great job with getting resources and connecting us to people. I mean, just not average people. These are rock stars and legends, like Tim Goad. Oh my gosh, he has been such a blessing to this entire organization. And my family personally, then you talk about Dr. Caracas Watkins, Doc Rock, and Jeff Bright, always good quality people. And now he's introduced us to Mr. Dean Vagnosi. Is it nosy? That's what I was thinking it was. Vagnosi. These big words, I'm telling you, bro. So if you haven't gotten a copy of this book right here, A Better Financial Plan, you need to get it, because there are people that have subscribed to the lie that's going to keep them in bondage. We got the information in our hands to set the captives free, baby. So Dean Vagnosi, first of all, get a copy of this book. But more importantly, he's bringing Dean Vagnosi to a city near you. Okay, so we're going to be doing these IUL seminar dinners. And if you say dinner, I'm up in there, okay? It's going to be food there. It's going to be roughly about $50 per person. So what you want to do is invite your clients who have some discretionary income. I did good on that one. They maybe can put $300, or a young person who's just getting started making 40, 50 grand a year, and they're putting money into their 401k because their job automatically enroll them in it. Bring them out and introduce them to Dean. It's going to be a great meal in Burlington. It's going to be at Michelle's Kitchen, okay? And it's $50. So you got to pay for your meal and pay for your guest meal too. But check this out. You bring a sharp couple, okay? You might spend $150 for that dinner, right? But next week, Dean has already done all the heavy lifting for you. You done fed them. Dean done educated them. Only thing you have to do is on your ride home, bam, fam, book another meeting, sit down, talk with them, and you write one IUL for $500 a month, you're going to make about $3,000. This is a big opportunity card. So I know I'm going to be at the one in Burlington. Are you going to be at the one? So we got some more. Orlando, Dallas, Texas is already confirmed on the books. So it's going to be around like the Alliance Leadership Academy in those cities. But also, we're going to see how it goes. And I'm thinking it's going to go crazy good. And then we're going to start doing these all across the country. But I would like to leave you with this right here. Like, God's gift to us has been Andy Albright and the Alliance. I'm speaking for me. I don't know about for you. But God's gift to me has been in the form of Andy Albright and the Alliance. What I do with that gift is my gift back to God and to Andy Albright. So the question is this right here. What are we going to do? We got the system. We got the loving. We got the people. We got the team. The locker room is poised. Only thing we got to do now is go out and execute, and let's win a national championship. Let's not make it close. Let's run up the score. Ladies and gentlemen, this is TWC and the Riddle, Terry Edwards. It's a wrap. Bye-bye. Night-night.